Hello everyone, this is Cindy with Monarch Mom DIY. I am here again today with a traveler's notebook tutorial. I'm going to make a traveler's notebook cover to fit a regular composition book size. I've never done this before. I'm following a couple different people's suggestions from YouTube. I will link those in the description box below. But I thought this might be a fun thing that could be made for teacher gifts, for stocking stuffers. If you're doing a craft show, you might want to make some of these to have as maybe a lower dollar item. And I'm going to make some for my craft show. Also today, I am going to do an unboxing and a review of this laminator. I've had a Scotch laminator. I believe I bought it at Walmart a long time ago. The back tray where you feed the item into the laminator is starting to get a little worn. It doesn't always stay up like it should. So I'm excited. This company reached out to me, ABOX, to try out their laminator. So let's first of all open this up. I think I just saw something in a picture on the cover that has me a little intrigued. So if I can get this open. All right, so it's not a very large box, which means it's not going to be a very large laminator. I know it. Oh, hey, look at this. It came with a little trimmer. That's kind of cool. Let's see what else. Oh, okay, comes with some laminating sleeves. And, ooh, it looks like in 2 different sizes. These are letter size, or 3 different. These are legal size, and then these are, I don't know if you can see how big those are. They're like a 3x5 card, I guess. So that's pretty cool. This little mini trimmer is pretty neat. All right, let's move my trimmer out of the way so we can open this up and get going. So I will use this laminator today to laminate the cover for my traveler's notebook that I'm going to make. And we'll just see how it does, how it compares to the one I've been using. Get it out of all the packaging. All right, so it is pretty small. It looks like your item goes in this way and comes out here maybe. It's got a power light and a ready light. So usually the red one comes on when it's plugged in, and then when it's warm enough to use, you're able to, the green light will come on. All right, so let me take a look at this and get back to you as far as how we're going to get this set up. Okay, so I came over here and plugged it in. I just wanted to show you the difference in size compared to the regular Scotch laminator. When you plug it in, it does not light up until you do the switch in the back. So the circle is off. The one line is for 3 millimeter thickness of laminate, and 2 is for 5 milliliter. I think it just is a little hotter maybe. Sometimes if I'm laminating cardstock, even if it's 3 mil laminate, I still do 5 mil because I think it just seals it a little bit better. So I'm just gonna flip it to 3 mil. So the red power light is on now, and I can feel it vibrating a little bit, so it is warming up. So we'll let that warm up and come back to it when we get to that spot in our tutorial. Okay, so for this cover, I am going to use paper from this Hot Buy paper pad from Michaels. It's called Marishka. I think it's kind of got a Russian vibe to it, but it has a lot of navy and burgundy and pink florals, some really pretty designs. These are like reindeer. These are like the little Russian dolls. This is really pretty. So because this cover is going to be larger than some of the others that I've made, you actually need 2 matching 12 by 12 sheets for the cover and 2 matching sheets for each of your inserts. So here I have 1 set, 2, 3, and 4. So this will be for my actual cover. These 3 will cover my little inserts. You will have 4 elastics like in my smaller traveler's notebooks, but I think I'm going to leave the 4th in case I decide to add a pocket folder. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to do the cover and maybe one of the insert covers. So with your, this is going to be my front outside cover. So what you need for this is you need 2 pieces that are cut at 8 7/8 wide by 10 1/4, okay? Because the typical composition book, let's see, is about 7 1/2 by 9 3/4. So we want a little bit of extra on the top and bottom. So let me get these papers cut and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have both of my pieces cut at 10 1/4. There we go. You can see down here, 10 1/4 by 8 7/8. So these, obviously, we had to cut them this small so they would fit through the laminator this way. And then we will piece them together at the spine when we put our cover together. So what I'm going to do, I want to leave a little spine here. So I'm going to, and this paper, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's all kind of a floral jumble. There's not really a true direction. I mean, it could go this way, it could go this way. So I'm going to say that this is my back cover. So I'm going to score at 7 3/4. Make sure it's in there good. All right, so just give it a little bit of a score at 7 3/4. That's gonna be my back cover, so this is gonna be like where the spine is. So since this is my front cover and I want the spine here, I'm gonna flip this upside down and also score it at 7 3/4. So this is gonna be where the 2 pieces overlap each other and where we end up punching the holes for the elastics. Okay, I hope that all makes sense. All right, so we've scored those. I'm going to take my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and you'll see here this has a, I don't know if you can see it very well. See if it'll focus. There we go. 1/2 inch. The other side is 1/4 inch. I'm going to go ahead and what will be my outside corners is I'm going to just give it a chomp and a chomp. So that will be the front cover. And this will be the back cover. Just gives it kind of a nice finished edge. All right, we are going to head over to the laminator, show you. Remember, this was 8 7/8, and it is barely going to fit in here. I could try to laminate it. Yeah, I think I will. I think it'll be enough of an edge as long as I get it in there really well. Okay, so if you've never used a laminator before, these sleeves are sealed on one end. You want to put your item in there as far as you can and then try and make this edge straight. Sorry if you hear little doggy feet. We are watching my parents' dog and she is in here. All right, so let's get this other piece and push it all the way up. And that is about even. You just want to kind of smooth it out, get any possible air bubbles out. All right, now let's head over to the laminator. Okay, so here you can see the laminator has the green light on, so it says it is ready. So you're going to take your item, you want to put it in the sealed edge first, and I just kind of try and center it and go slowly, and now the roller has grabbed it and it is going through. Ooh, I like how slow it goes. That makes me think that it's really gonna do a nice job making sure it gets sealed. Ooh, that is looking nice. Because there is such a small margin on the sides, I may send this through a second time. I'll do one piece, then the other piece, then I'll maybe go back and do them again. I don't know though, it looks like it's doing pretty good. All right, so that is our first piece. All right, let's take a look. Wow, that did a really nice job. I don't know if you can tell, but this is completely clear. There are no bubbles or anything. I'm really pleased with how well that laminated. Let me do the second sheet and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so my initial review, I am very pleased with how well this laminated on these small edges, and like I said before, how this extra is clear. I don't see any foggy spots or bubbles. Very nice job. So what I'm going to do now with my two pieces, on the straight edge that will overlap with the other piece, I'm just going to leave that little bit of extra. I am going to trim some extra off the bottom here so it kind of matches the top, and with my scissors go around these round edges. Okay, so the next thing I did is I just gently bent on those score lines that we made. I did these on both sides. And now try to figure out, I don't think it really matters because the pattern, like I said before, is so random. I think I'm going to go ahead and put so that the front cover, wait, okay, this is gonna be my front. I'm gonna put the front on top of the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of this Scor Tape. I get this on Amazon. It's very, very strong. I used it when making some of my chipboard albums, or you can use some of the red tape from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I actually got this at Dollar Tree. It is pretty thick. It's just thinner, so I would have to use more pieces. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, I have to remind myself again which one is the front. Okay, so this is the front. I'm going to put some of this tape along the spine, but between my score lines. I don't want it to go over my score line. Okay, and you can take your bone folder and just, this is called burnishing. You're just rubbing it, making sure it's getting really stuck down to that surface. This is 1/2 inch, so I can do two pieces right next to each other and we should be good. Okay, boop. And burnish that one. Okay, let me get these other things out of my way. All right, so once that's burnished, you can peel off the backing and it is clear. Come on. There we go. All right, so you probably can't see it, but it's there. Now I'm going to take my back piece and try to not get my head in the way, but also see what I'm doing clearly. All right. Very good. Now we're going to burnish that again and just make sure those pieces are stuck together. And there we go. We have our cover. All right, so if you've seen any of my other Traveler's Notebooks videos, now you know what we have to do is with my Cropodile Big Bite, and I will put links in the description box for these tools that I'm using, the trimmer, the scoreboard, this, which is basically a paper or a hole punch, but it can reach really far. So I'm going to be able to slide this in and it's going to punch a hole in the middle, which is convenient if you're making books or traveler's notebooks. I'll also link the, this is also the Cropodile brand, but it's called a corner chomper, and the Scor Tape that I use. Sorry about this glare right here. I'm upstairs in a different space and the lighting's not great. So I'm going to measure where I want my holes. So for 4 strands, you need 3 holes. So we're gonna measure right in the center, which let me see how wide this is now. Ooh, it looks like it's exactly, what is that? 16 3/4 if I use the laminate edge. Okay, 16 3/4. So let me see, 3/4 is 6/8. So 3/8 would be half of that. So 8 3/8 is going to be the center where we will want our hole. So I'm just gonna go down about this far and just mark myself a little dot. And this has different size holes. This is gonna be a 1/8 hole. Where are you? There you are. All right, so there you can see my hole. I'm gonna do another one here and another one here, and then on each end I'll do one on either side. Okay, so let me do that and I'll come back to you. Okay, so here it is. You can see them better on this side. 3 at the top, 1 in the center, and 3 at the bottom. So this one is going to be for the elastic that goes around and holds it closed. Okay, these will hold the elastics that will hold our inserts. So let's move on to make our inserts now. Here again, I have my 2 matching pieces of 12 by 12. We will make 2 pieces and then they will overlap in the center. Okay, so I need to cut these at 7 3/4 by 9 7/8. Okay, so front and back. It's just like we opened a book up. We are going to score this just at 1/4 inch here, and that's where we're going to overlap our 2 pieces. Probably I'll use that red tape this time because it is thinner. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to do 1/4 inch. I'm going to turn it. No, I'm not. I'm right-handed, so it's a little tricky to do this on the left, but we can do it. All right, 1/4 inch. That's my front cover. Flip it around. 1/4 inch for my back cover. Okay, so we'll attach these like this. You can see. You could even, if you had time for it to dry, you could even use some of this art glitter glue. It dries clear. It's great for water or paper crafts. I've used that before, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and do a piece of that red tape if I can find where I set it down. Aha. Okay. So the difference between this and the Scor Tape is this has kind of a plastic backing. Oh wait, I want to make sure I get the front cover on the outside. Let's just score that a little bit so I can see it. All right. Sorry, gotta get you in frame. Okay, so I'm just going right up to the edge here. This one you can't rip quite as easily because of that plastic, but we can just trim it. Okay. Burnish it. Once you peel off the red backing, it will be clear like the other one. Of course, I cut my nails the other day. All right. We'll line this up. Okay, here we go. So it's got a little bit of an edge. You can fold on your score lines, make sure you've got it even. And the other one. There we go. So this is going to be a cover for some sheets. Okay, I've got my 3 inserts from my one composition notebook. I believe those are like 89 cents at Walmart year-round. If you were fortunate enough to get some extras at back to school, you probably paid 50 cents. So I just find these are a little bit, not a whole lot thicker paper than the ones at Dollar Tree, but they definitely are cheaper since they're 88 cents, I think, and you might get more pages in the Walmart ones. So what I'm going to do is I have each of my 3 separated out. I'm just going to go over the edge a little bit to get it a little flatter. So here you can see I have my 3. And what I'm going to use to put it inside this little cover that we made. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to round the corners. So let's get our corner chomper again. I need a bigger workspace. All right, here it is. Corner chomper, again on the 1/2 inch side, just to give it a little rounded finished edge to match the cover as well. Cover of our notebook. Okay, and the pages are already rounded. Okay, so what you're gonna need is one of these long reach staplers. Well, there is a way to do it with a regular stapler, but these are not that expensive. I'll put a link in the description box, and it was just worth it for me to purchase one. So what I'm gonna do is set this right in the center of my cover that we made. If you want to, you can clip, I think I might do that, put some binder clips so that the pages don't move around while I'm stapling. Okay, so here you see I've got my binder clips holding my pages right in the center. And so what I'm going to do with my long reach stapler, I have it set to 7.5 inches because that will take it, should take it pretty much to the middle, and it's pretty close to where the center is. It's going to be close enough that it'll hold the pages together. And then, you know, we have the elastic that will also be holding it together. So go ahead and take the clips off. And I have my first insert to go in my cover. So let me make the other 2 and I'll come right back. Okay, so I have all 3 of my inserts made, corners rounded, paper inside. So now what we need to do is go ahead and do our elastic on our cover. I am just gonna, for simplicity's sake, go ahead and use white elastic. This is, I believe, yeah, I don't think you can see it, 2mm elastic bead cord. All right, so I'm going to not cut a piece off, I'm just going to kind of string it with it still on. So I'm going to go in the bottom right from behind, go up to the top and pull it. Then I'm going to go over on the top to the middle hole and come back down. I'm going to go a little fast, but I do have other videos that give a tutorial of a little slower of how to do this. Okay, so now my elastic is back on the outside. Now I'm going to come in this bottom left and go back up. Okay, so if you flipped it over now, you'll see I have a gap here and a gap here. So what I need to do now is I need to pull this string over because I need to go back into that middle hole. All right, and that's gonna come down towards the middle. This one that I started with, I'm gonna cut a little bit off because I have to do the same thing. I have to go back in that middle hole. And these two ends that you tie together are what create your fourth elastic. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, and then my fourth is going to be this one I tie as a knot. But what I want to do first is kind of tighten these up just a little bit so they're not super loose. I like to try to tie my knot kind of down here towards the bottom. And this, because I only have 3 inserts right now, this will probably be the one I don't put an insert on, but you have that 4th string that you can either make a 4th insert if you'd like, or a pocket folder. Okay, all right, so let's see thickness wise. Okay, it's really good. So all of these will go on one of those strings, but first I need to figure out how much string to go around. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball it there. The inserts are in, but they're not in the elastic. Okay, so I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter and make a knot. Okay, then let's go to the inside. Okay, so here's my knot. This end, the loop end, I'm going to put through the hole from the inside. I can squeeze it to fit it in the hole. I'm grabbing it with my other hand, hopefully. All right, third try's a charm, right? Okay, we're gonna pull that through here and then the knot's gonna hold it. But before I trim anything, see, that's way too loose for my taste. Way too loose. So I'm going to undo this knot, or actually make another one a little lower. Slide it. Let's try that. And around. I think that's pretty good. I might try and slide it down a little bit more and then snip my excess. All right, now let's get these inserts in. You're going to turn to the middle where you put your staples and slide it under the elastic halfway there. Look, where am I? Okay. There's one. This one in the middle. We'll do, I guess I could do the one with the knot. Doesn't really matter because it's just in that center spot. And then my last one, there's my staples. Slide it under. And there you go. My notebooks are all in. If you decided you wanted this tighter, I kind of like that it almost closes it there. And then you've got, see, lots of room for your notebooks. So that is a tutorial on how to do a traveler's notebook composition notebook size. Let me know in the comments any questions you have. Do you think this is something that you would ever attempt to make? Oh, I was gonna say one other thing. Obviously the inside here is white because I used single-sided cardstock. If you use double-sided, you know, you have something a little more decorative here. But you could always, let me grab one of my small traveler's notebooks. You could always, like I have in these guys, put one of these clear adhesive pockets right here in the front. You may even have room to do one on the bottom, one on the top. Or do them going this way if you wanted to keep little cards or something in there. So this might be a really great gift for a teenage girl, maybe a boy, who takes a lot of notes. This would be great for meetings. It's kind of nice because nobody will have one like it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will be sure to put links in the description box, like I said, of the tools I used in case you ever want to try to make one of these on your own. All right, guys, thanks so much. Bye.